Deborah. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to do a whip and chat. It's been a while since I've done one, so I thought I would catch you guys up on what's been going on with me. Honestly, it hasn't been a whole lot, but thought I'd do one anyways. Today I'm going to do some cross stitch. It is a Mirabilia. It's called the Dreamer. Here's a picture of it. It is being stitched on desert sand, 32 count linen, and I have it mounted on my Needlework System 4 with a Q-snap adapter. And I also have my cute little lavender dragon needle minder by Clay by Kim. It's made out of polymer clay. I love him. He's just adorable and awesome. And I will link her shop in my description box below. She lists somewhat sporadically. You kind of have to watch her Instagram, which I'll also list below, because that's when she makes announcements on when she'll post in her shop. And when she does, you gotta buy quick, because they do go pretty fast. Because I mean, look at it, it's adorable, but I mean, so worth it. So yeah, check her out. So anyways, what's been going on with everyone? Let's see. You know, it's really hard to cross stitch and talk at the same time. Let's see. Oh, I grid my fabric with 4-pound red fishing line, just because it stands out a lot more and it's a little sturdier, and I feel like it's a lot easier to pull out once you're done stitching. It doesn't get caught underneath my stitches as much, I've noticed. So that's why I like using it, in case you're wondering what I'm gridding with. So anyways, what's new? Well, I am working on a diamond painting. It's something from AliExpress, and I think I've kind of decided I'm not going to be showing anything from AliExpress, just simply because of all the copyright issues that you can tend to run into with things from AliExpress. And I know there's like Google image search that you can use and 10i, but you know, in all honesty, you know, I feel like most images, as long as it's been created within the not so distant future, you probably do have some sort of copyright protection slapped on it. And I just don't want to risk it or deal with it. So, and you know, unfortunately, I do have a lot of things from AliExpress that I did purchase and I do want to work through, because, you know, I did buy it and I did spend my money on, but unfortunately I can't show it. And you know, I don't know if I mentioned how I decide how I work through my diamond paintings. So I have my diamond paintings divided up into 2 piles. I have what I determine is my good pile, which is diamond paintings I've purchased from like Diamond Art Club, Treasure Studios Art, Dime Moon Shop, places like that. And then I have diamond paintings I've purchased from like AliExpress, and I alternate between the 2 piles. So right now it's my AliExpress pile, and once I'm done with this painting, it's going to be in my good pile. And this current AliExpress pile, this current AliExpress painting, it is a huge painting. It is a 80 by 210 centimeters. It is huge, and I am so over it, so over it. It's around, but I still have popping drills. You know, the round is all different sizes, and there's all sorts of trash, and it's just, I'm over it. I'm over it. And honestly, it just really underscores why I'm no longer buying from AliExpress, you know? I mean, the quality, I mean, there has been kits I bought from AliExpress which were awesome, but at the end of the day, quality is just so inconsistent, and it's such a crapshoot what you're gonna get, you know? I mean, you just never know. You never know what you're gonna get, and it's such a waiting game, and you know, I'm just done. I'm done. And I get it, it's cheap, and not everyone can afford the prices from Diamond Art Club and all those other places, but at the end of the day, you know, you kind of have to think about, it's not just the upfront money, you know? I mean, you got to think about the time it takes when you actually sit down and do these paintings, you know? I mean, that's a lot of time that you're putting in. It really is. And do you really want to risk putting in all that time and effort for a result that may just be mediocre? You know, I mean, that's going to be a lot of heartbreak, and it will be disappointing. Do you really want to risk that? I mean, how valuable is your time, really? You know, so I mean, you do have to factor that in too. So I guess that's just that's the point I've come to. So I guess that's where I'm at with diamond painting and where I'm going to be spending my money, I guess. So anyways, so we're all moved in 1 month later. We still have boxes around, you know, I mean, so I guess I wouldn't say we're completely moved in, but you know, we're not digging into boxes for things we need on the daily anymore, I guess. But you know, nothing's put up on the walls yet. That's still gonna take some time. But for the most part, we've settled into a routine, I guess, and we're at a point where we're pretty comfortable here. My brother and I went on a road trip about 2 weeks ago. He helped my sister and her family move from California to Dallas, and he was actually going to drive back to LA by himself, and I didn't want him to make the 22-hour trip by himself, so I rode back with him. And it wasn't too bad. We stopped the first night in Albuquerque, and we didn't do too much there. You know, we just had dinner and then went to sleep, and then got up early so that we can make the 9-hour drive. We decided to make it a fun stop the second night, and we drove to Las Vegas the second night and met my cousin and her fiance there. Las Vegas was interesting. It was really interesting. It was supposedly Las Vegas was supposedly half capacity, where they only opened up half the hotel rooms, and none of the shows were open. None of the buffets that they're all known for were open, but you know, you never would have guessed it. It was so packed. I mean, yeah, it felt like there was just a ton of people there. Everyone was wearing masks. You know, they limited the seating at the gambling tables, but there was just so many people there. You know, restaurants were crowded. There was just, it felt pretty crowded. And, you know, during our road trip too, my brother and I stopped at a bunch of Hobby Lobbies and Goodwills, and you know, we just stopped at a bunch of stores just to see what was out there, and that was interesting too. I made a little video on all the little clearance Hobby Lobby hauls I found, which you can check out. There wasn't anything too outrageous, but that was fun too. I don't think I could have done that with anyone else. My husband wouldn't have had the patience to stop at all the little stores that we did. So that was fun. And then we got home to LA. I stayed in LA for about a day. And then I flew back home to Dallas. The plane was pretty full, which, you know, I mean, I've come to expect. I've flown a couple of times since COVID, and every time the plane was full. So that's nothing new. Yeah. So there was that. And let's see. My son had just started face-to-face school this week. So, oh, I should turn it this way. He's happy to be back in in-person school after being virtual for 9 weeks. And my scissors. And I'll talk about that in a second. Let me grab some water first. So my son was virtual for the first 9 weeks of the semester. And after the 9 weeks, they gave the parents the option of allowing our kids to continue on being virtual or going back to in-person. And now, so the way our school was doing this, it was basically like a hybrid classroom. So the virtual kids are actually in a classroom with the kids who chose to go to school in person right from the beginning of the year. So the teachers there were basically teaching both virtual and in-person kids. And honestly, I don't know if that was really the best system for the kids, because the virtual kids were a little cheated out in the curriculum, because there were certain things as the teachers were teaching that really wasn't, couldn't translate well to virtual if you know what I mean. Like, it was just hard for the virtual kids to really understand what was going on. And there was that, and you know, I know I shouldn't complain about teachers, because I know that they are going through a lot. I know this. I know and I understand, but you know what? I am going to complain about teachers. So don't get at me for this. But so I walked in on my son's math class one day, right? And so I walk in on my son's math class, and his math teacher is basically in the middle of talking about how tired of this he is, and he is just sick of this, and he is just done, and you know, it's just going on and on about this. And then he just says, and you know what, if your parents have a problem with this, they are free to email me about this, but I can tell you right now that I have, what did he say? He said something along the lines of, my principal and my assistant principal have my backs on this. So they can go ahead and email, but I don't know what good that's going to do, or something like that. And he's like, I stay here, or no, he said, last night I was here till 9 o'clock. And, you know, just going on and on. And this whole time he had the camera aimed at his torso, so we couldn't even see his face. But you look and you can see a student just plain as day, straight ahead. And the problem is the deal when they were doing this hybrid teaching was that you weren't supposed to see any of the students in the classroom. Not at all. And so the fact that I could clearly see a student in the classroom was a problem. And my problem with that whole thing was that, you know, I mean, yes, he can have a bad day and everything else like that, but he should not be complaining to the kids about this. You know what I mean? And he shouldn't be like telling the kids, you know, go ahead and complain to your parents about it, but they're not going to be able to do anything about it. Like, I mean, I felt like that's kind of what he was trying to say. You know, I mean, my husband doesn't even complain about his job to my kid. So why should the teachers be able to complain about their jobs to my kid? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think that was right. But anyways, maybe that was just me. But I just, you know, I mean, I'm sorry you have to stay till 9. That sounds like a job. You know, I mean, I don't know, our middle school teachers in our district gets paid an average of $60,000 a year. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, you're paid $60,000 working a school schedule. You can stay till 9 o'clock one night. I mean, not a problem. There's plenty of jobs out there where you can clock out at 5 o'clock, you know, but it's not going to pay you $60,000. So don't complain to my kid about it. That's all I'm saying. Don't complain to my kid about it. That, I know, that just rubbed me the wrong way. And then, my kid's science teacher, you know, decides to come up with this project because they're learning about genetics, where she wants them to come up to their parents and ask the parents about what sort of mental illnesses and any other genetic health illnesses that we may have or that may run in the family, and list them down so that they can like map it and talk about it in the classroom. And I was just kind of like, okay, that's a little personal. I don't know if that's something we should be talking about. And apparently I wasn't the only one who felt that way. So she ended up canceling the assignment, but coming back and saying like, well, you know, even though clearly a bunch of parents didn't want to participate in that, I still want the students to talk to the parents about it and talk about how you may be able to prevent future mental illness in the family. And it's like, okay, look, chick, I don't know. I have no problems talking to my son about mental illness or family illness or anything else like that. But I just don't think some sort of 7th grade genetics lesson should have been the factor to drive that conversation. And that shouldn't have been something that should be discussed in a 7th grade classroom. Like, you can teach genetics without having to discuss personal family illnesses, you know? Like, what happened to teaching about pea plants or fruit flies for genetics? Like, what the heck? I don't know. Like, I feel like a couple of teachers just crossed the line here and they want to hide behind the whole, well, I'm a teacher, I'm just like a total, I don't know. Anyways, that's just, okay, well, I'm over that now. Just had to complain about it. So, yeah. Okay, well, anyways, I went to yoga 4 times this week. That was a huge effort on my part, trying to make a better effort of getting back into shape, because Lord knows I need to work on getting back into shape. Yeah, there was once upon a time in a different lifetime, I was really good at yoga. That's not me anymore, but I'm gonna work on it. And I was telling my husband earlier this week, there was a gentleman in the class. Do you remember in a movie, There's Something About Mary? And do you remember her neighbor, Magda? Well, there was a guy in the class who was like the male equivalent of Magda. Like, it was, it was funny. I take a hot yoga class. So, he was in there and he just didn't have a shirt, but he wore like these tiny, tiny little shorts. And he pulls them down like way past his hip bones. And super, super tan. Like, this is not his natural skin color. He's super tan, no tan lines. So, yeah, and shock of white hair. And it's just, yeah, he's the male version of Magda. And it's just so funny. And he looks like he should be living somewhere in Florida, not in Dallas. So he just sticks out to me. And of course he'd be in my hot yoga class. Why not? But yeah, but I've been enjoying hot yoga. It's been good. It's been good for me. Even though while I'm in the class, I feel like I'm going to die. Afterwards, I feel better. So I'm going to keep at it. And hopefully I'll start to see some benefits from it. But anyways, that's all I got now. Yeah, if you guys stuck through it this far, I thank you very much. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I put up a new video. But other than that, thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.